Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
The World Wrestling Federation, for over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
Oh, it's live, pal.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never, ever end. Everybody 3 count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Or maybe The Rock has got to beat Triple H himself, which means he's got to beat the game in the middle of the ring. And he has a $2 for a wife.
You're too damn selfish, and that's why you're sitting there with a bad leg, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
3 ain't enough now, I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
Oh my goodness, what am I doing? There's a 1, there's a 2. Oh!
Wow.
Well, you can take that brass ring and shove it up your ass.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to 3 Count Thursday. We are live. It is Thursday night, March the 25th, 2021. We are still the podcast of the millennium, and we are glad to be with you again tonight. Make sure you visit our website, 3countthursday.com. There you will find all of our social media links, our merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net.
What a maneuver.
Thank you, Tim. Our Patreon page, patreon.com/3 Count Thursday. Our collar and elbow brand deal. If you go to store.collarandelbowbrand.com, you'll get 10% off each and every order by using the promo code 3 Count. You can check out our home network, of course, NGSC Sports for all things sports, NGSCsports.com. And, of course, our secondary network, Leeb Sports and Music Network. Go to leebsports.com. That would be anyone?
LEEIBsports.com.
Thank you, Tim. And we are glad to be back with you. Still rolling on the road to WrestleMania. And we'll obviously talk about the pay-per-view from this past Sunday and some other things. But want to see how everybody's doing this week. If you're following along in the live video, give us a like, give us a share. We'd appreciate that. And intern Mark.
How you doing?
Hi, boys. I'm doing really good. Real good. Spring has sprung. It's beautiful. Hi, boys. The temperature is nice. The sun's staying out longer. And has anybody seen Ryan?
He's still hibernating. Look, WrestleMania, we're getting closer to it. We got to be well rested for that week. I promise you he will be back by the time we are on the air during WrestleMania week. Someone will wake him up.
So actually, I have a news update on Ryan. Actually,
is it breaking news?
It is breaking news.
Go ahead, Tim.
I have it on good authority that Ryan has indeed awoken from his hibernation. However, on his way out to get his first meal, he tripped and fell at a local Burger King.
Oh, no.
If anyone remembers, this is also the site of another tragic incident in Ryan history in which he did the exact same thing. Story is still developing as to the whereabouts of his ankle. If the ankle was indeed damaged during the fall. All we know is Ryan is awake. He's ready to go, but could not get from the bed to the computer due to a tragic fall at a local Burger King.
It's always Burger King that'll get you. This sort of accident doesn't happen at McDonald's, doesn't happen at Wendy's, doesn't happen at Chick-fil-A, doesn't happen at Sonic because none of them in Lancaster County are open anymore. So really doesn't happen at Sonic. It says Ryan hasn't been back since his COVID shot. It's a government conspiracy. Not a conspiracy, I promise. The shots are safe.
He's actually a bird, and he's getting his batteries changed by the government.
Yeah, Leslie, we need Leslie Nielsen on the case. Ryan pulling an Undertaker before WrestleMania 30.
I believe Leslie Nielsen is dead.
Well, then we're probably not going to get a lot of answers, are we?
Yeah.
Well, hey, has anybody checked for Ryan at the Capitol Diner?
He's probably waiting on our food from 3 years ago. You're right.
I literally just told you where he was, and you are now asking if he's at the Capitol Diner.
It's okay.
Well, his food might be getting plated. It's hard
This
to
is why.
say.
This is why he's an intern.
Hold on. We have more information. Hold on.
More info. Just go. We're not going to play this down.
Oh crap. Okay. I found out that he tripped so hard he fell all the way to the Capitol Diner. So he's actually not convalescing at home. He's actually convalescing, waiting on the food that will never show up.
Good luck, Ryan. He's going to starve.
Spinal.
I think he'll be okay.
Isn't there a Burger King right next to the Capitol Diner, or is it a McDonald's?
That's a McDonald's. He would have went there, and then if he would have fell, he just would have rolled down the hill. So. But he will be back by WrestleMania week. We promised. Scotty asked, "Will with Impact moving to Thursdays, will the AEW partnership change?" Well, probably not. I wouldn't imagine, but
we will probably have to start airing on a different day because a lot of people are going to be tuning into Impact.
I mean, the dozens and dozens of Impact fans.
Scotty, if you wish us to get snow again, we're gonna boot you right off the.
I'm gonna hit him with a warning first. We're gonna give him
one warning,
a little angry emoji, and then after that.
And no, he didn't get thrown off a building like Ray and Alistair did.
You think he's gonna be on top of a building?
Come on now. Clearly, you don't know Ryan that well. Matt.
I can do it.
I'm doing well. We're going with the mint tea from Rudders this week. I thought I was going to be getting some Miriam's pies this week because I did see someone share a video of like thousands of them.
I saw that too.
Yeah. Did you guys get yours? Because I didn't get mine, but I live further away. So okay.
I didn't even get mine, and I'm probably the closest. So
I actually did get mine.
Oh, so they travel well to Maryland, but
yes.
not or Lidditz. Okay.
It's something about local postal service. It's a little weird, a little hinky. Thanks.
So I instead had to go with the snack of Hodecker celery with peanut butter instead. Which
I mean, if you're not going to get Miriam pies, then you could definitely you could not go wrong with the Hodecker's celery.
Imagine if they had celery flavored whoopie pies by Hodecker's. Man, you're talking right there. You get peanut butter in the middle.
I just kind of threw up my mouth a little bit.
Yeah, let's give Mark a warning.
Not gonna let you can Tim, issue him one of the Tim.
How you doing?
I was doing okay, and then the evil man put that evil thought in my fragile little brain, and now I can't even function. I got a new toy on my toy wall.
Oh yeah,
I do.
What we got?
Gotta pull him right out of the middle. But we got ourselves a little Alex Trebek boy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, how
nice.
Little fresh Alex. So right in the middle, overseeing all of the answers that are questions. And then of course, food sits atop the throne. But other than that, life is great. No complaints. I found out officially my best effing friend is going to wrestle at WrestleMania weekend. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, he's it's official. He's going to be down there for a day.
Down in the Flow Rider.
In the Flow Rider, the WWE Hall of Famer Flow Rider. But I'm also drinking tonight. I'm drinking some Jack Daniel's Blackjack Cola. It's about half done because I've it's not quite a Moscow Mule, Connie, but it'll do.
That sounds tasty.
Salsa.
I am actually not drinking. If we're being fully honest with each other, I'm drinking a vitamin water this evening. Had a big dinner. Didn't feel like putting some beer on top of it. So, but I'm doing well. Week was good. Matt, Scotty asks your immediate reaction to Deshaun Jackson signing with the Rams.
I wasn't too upset. It's a good spot for him. He goes home. I think he could do well with that team. And I mean, I think he'll one day retire an Eagle, so that's fine. Eagles aren't the spot for him this year because they're going to be garbage.
Yeah, they're.
But what's new?
Hey, they got an elite quarterback though. They have an elite quarterback in Joe Flacco. Yeah.
What was he elite? What was he elite for? A Super Bowl?
I don't even think he was elite for that Super Bowl.
No, it was literally him throwing the ball in the air, and Anquan Bolden was just running around the field and catching everything.
Yeah. Scotty also asked thoughts on Peeps and Pepsi making a soda called Peepsy. I don't want to live in this world.
Is that real?
I think it actually is a real thing.
Yeah. It is real.
Just,
official
What the hell is even that?
from CNN.
Yeah.
Peepsy.
Like,
Peepsy.
why?
I'm here for it. I will try it.
I will not. Like,
I can't even imagine the calorie count in that.
I'll drink Moxie again before I try.
I look like someone who's worried about calorie count?
Right. This is
Hey,
like
what
the
about the sugar?
anti-calorie
Calorie
count
count
podcast.
is like age. It ain't nothing but a number.
And I have heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but if you don't read the calorie count for whatever you put in your body, it doesn't exist.
Yes.
Is that true?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's
what
why I don't
thought.
read.
Just,
That's why I
yeah,
don't
just
read.
don't look at this. It's a good thing I can't read.
Can't read.
But
Hi, my name's Jared. I'm 17 years old and I don't know how to read.
I just, yeah.
Hello, Jared. Welcome.
I mean, Peeps. No, I don't want that to be.
It
a
can't
thing.
be that bad.
I mean, if
I
it
think
tastes anything like Peeps, it is that bad.
Wait, hold on. Do we see a ghost in the chat?
Wait, what? What the? How is he there?
I told you he couldn't get to the computer. Tragic.
Oh, so he's on.
His phone.
He's just okay.
Slip,
So
fall at Burger King, and then land at Capitol Diner, but he has his phone. Told you he's out of hibernation.
There he is. He's awake.
He's waking up and he's hungry.
Can you tell him to order me an omelet?
Yeah.
I feel
We'll
like
have it,
It'll be
we'll have
ready.
it next week, man.
I feel like now is as good a time of any to plug whatamaneuver.net.
Right. If you go to whatamaneuver.net, you will find the 3 Count Thursday merchandise. You'll find our 3CF&T logo merchandise. You will find our belt logo merchandise, but you'll also find that great third line of 3CT merchandise, the
I'm a sausage guy.
line of merchandise. You see it right there, front and center, on the weekly video, and make sure you head over there.
I'm a sausage guy.
Ryan says he will be back next week. He'll be able to get from the bed to the computer. No more Burger King, Ryan. If you want fast food, go to McDonald's, go to Wendy's, go anywhere else, because it is we know it is unsafe to be at Burger King. Yeah, and the cinnamon toast. I would actually rather eat cinnamon toast shrimp than drink a Peepsy. I'll say that right now.
Are you serious, bro?
Peepsy.
Peeps
You
are
gotta be drunk and high at the same time.
Peeps are hot garbage. They're so bad.
Cinnamon toast shrimp tails. You're gonna take that over something that is half drinkable and half
We don't
edible.
know that. We don't know that.
Well, I love Pepsi and I love Peeps. This could be a fruit salad situation where it's all garbage, or this could be my only drink of choice, and I'm going to take all of my Pokemon card spending money and spend it on Peepsy stock.
Convert it to Peepsy money.
I'm just going to be great. Like, we got to move the stonks. Move them.
Well,
This
Tim,
is brand new.
from my house to yours, you can have my share of Peepsy.
I'm collecting shares for Peepsy.
You can have my
right
share
now.
Anyone else want to give up their share of them? Matt, want to give up yours?
Yeah, that's fine. I also did want to mention, if you visit the Instagram page, I'm just going to give everyone a glimpse of how good you could look. Not saying you will, but you could, as we had Felicia Rose model the I'm a Sausage Guy shirt. So
I'm a sausage guy.
That picture will be up on the Instagram. Just to, if you're having any hesitation, should I order this shirt? You might look as good as Felicia if you wear it. No promises, but
yeah, that's a guarantee that we can't put out there, but you can try. You can certainly try.
Now we need to go double or nothing, and we need to send one over to Brittany.
I agree.
I bet she'd wear it.
She would absolutely wear it. She would wear it. She would bedazzle it.
That's true.
It would get cut in like a weird, funky design because she's crafty and handy with that sort of stuff.
She is.
It would, if we get her a big enough size, she'll turn it into a dress. Like, the possibilities are endless.
But
with the Easter and Passover coming, that makes a great gift too.
It does.
It absolutely does. Who wouldn't want a 3CT
I'm a sausage guy.
shirt or, lightweight hoodie, something, tank top? It's springtime, summertime's coming. Who wouldn't want that in their Easter basket? Yes, obviously. Thank you, Scotty. We let this one slip through. Congratulations to Brittany, our official, unofficial 6th member, on her engagement. Super exciting news for her this week. I think she is moving from Louisiana to Texas. So once she gets settled in there, she'll be back on the pod here at some point.
Which also reminds me, and this is an early plug, but we support our own here. Brittany's got a merch site available to be found on all of her social media. Go and buy whatever you can for or from her to support her. She's using all of that to help fund the move from Louisiana to Tejas. So we do take care of our own. I'm personally going to go over there and purchase some stuff, get some push pins. They don't have any fluffy boy sizes, but that's okay. And we'll make it so. But we take care of our own around here. So support Brittany in this wonderful new venture for her. I love love, and I love people who find love. This is great.
Absolutely. All right, let's jump into it here. We have some moments to look back on in this day in history. Of course, looking at March the 25th, 2 birthdays. Tim White, former WWE official, was born in 1954, and Masa Saito was born in 1961. 1996, the Monday Night War continued with WCW Monday Nitro defeating WWF Monday Night Raw 3.1 to 2.5 in the ratings. In the main event of Nitro, WCW champion Ric Flair fought the Giant to a no contest to retain the title. And in the main event of Raw, Ahmed Johnson defeated Owen Hart by DQ when the British Bulldog attacked Ahmed Johnson. 2002, the WWF held a live draft featuring the first WWF brand extension draft at the Bryce Jordan Center on the campus of Penn State University and State College, PA. I'm gonna run through the draft picks for Raw. It was The Undertaker, the NWO, Kane, Intercontinental Champion RVD, Booker T, Big Show, Bubba Ray Dudley, Brock Lesnar, European Champion William Regal, Lita, Hardcore Champion Bradshaw, Steven Richards, Matt Hardy, Raven, Jeff Hardy, Mr. Perfect, Spike Dudley, D'Lo Brown, Sean Stasiak, Terry, Jacqueline, Goldust, Trish Stratus, Just Incredible, Big Boss Man, Tommy Dreamer, Crash Holly, and Molly Holly. On the SmackDown side, The Rock, Kurt Angle, Chris, Hulk, WWF Tag Team Champions Billy and Chuck, Edge, Rikishi, Devon Dudley, Mark Henry, Maven, Billy Kidman, Cruiserweight Champion Tajiri, Chris Jericho, Ivory, Albert, the Hurricane, Al Snow, Lance Storm, DDP, Tori Wilson, Scotty Too Hottie, Stacy Keebler, Christian, Test, Farouk, Taz, Hardcore Holly, Val, and Perry Saturn. WWF Undisputed Champion Triple H and WWF Women's Champion Jazz were ineligible to be drafted and would wrestle on both shows. Steve Austin was also ineligible to be drafted and would make the decision as to which brand he wanted to be on the following week. 2013, Matt Hardy and Rebby Sky announced their engagement. The two would be married later in the year. And then finally, 2016, WWE held a live event at Madison Square Garden in New York City that featured AJ Styles' MSG debut. So these were the events that happened March the 25th in pro wrestling history. So let's go back, gentlemen, to this past Sunday night on either the WWE Network or on Peacock, wherever you choose to watch WWE Fastlane. If I can find it, where is it?
Mimi.
Now
Who watched it on Peacock? Is that what you're gonna ask?
Yeah, I watched it on Peacock. Tim did. Mark, did you?
I watched it on the network.
You watched it on the network. Matt, where did you watch? Network?
I also watched on the network. One last
ride
with the award-winning WWE Network.
I gotta look to see when my subscription is supposed to end, because I know a couple people have actually already had theirs cancel.
Truth be told, I haven't been subscribed to the WWE Network for some time. I had been using a friend's subscription due to some financial tightening of the belt this year. I kind of cut loose some of my streaming services, but so that's why, you know, when it started the transition to Peacock, it was easier for me to watch it on there. Devin said he watched it on Peacock. Scotty said he's canceling his network. You're canceling it before they cancel it on you.
My cancellation date is actually the last day of the network, so I'm going to ride it out.
There you go. Ride it out.
I'm just going to ride it out. Not like they need my money, but I'm just going to ride it out, man. Because I prefer it. Like, honestly, if I'm being honest and truthful, I'm really thinking about buying a VPN and getting the WWE Network in a different country just so I have it. Because the Peacock stuff is getting ridiculous. Like, I still don't like it. I've had a whole week since the last time we had this conversation. And like, granted, they've added stuff, but now we're starting with the whitewashing of WWE content.
I had this in news, but we're
talking about it now.
Yeah, let's just attack this now. So let me scroll down here to where I had it. The over the last couple of days, number of readers, this is from PW Insider, sent word. They found edits over older WWE material for shows that have been added to the streaming service. WrestleMania 6, the Piper backstage interview, the backstage promo was removed. This is the one where he was painted half black. The 2005 Survivor Series, the vignette where Mr. McMahon drops a big uh-oh. That one has been cut.
I thought that they also cut the entire Roddy Piper Bad News Brown match from WrestleMania 6.
It just says that this is from PW Insider that the promo was removed.
Okay, that's fine. But the next thing that's gonna go is the Nation of Domination getting parodied by DX.
Yeah,
like that's gonna go. And like, granted, some of that stuff should be gone in 2021 vision.
Right.
But
right, and here's the thing, because I just saw this report that according to sources familiar with the situation, NBC Universal owned streaming service is reviewing all 17,000 hours of WWE content to ensure it aligns with Peacock standards and practices. WWE is also being made aware of any changes that are made. Like, here's the deal. Like, yes, there are plenty of things over the course of the history of the WWE, WWF, and other companies. I mean, stuff that's going to be put up there that, yeah, don't, it does not work in today's world. However, I mean, I definitely have mixed feelings about just outright removing it. Like, to me, I feel like if you have like the Roddy Piper promo, or obviously the word drop by McMahon, I feel like those events should have a disclaimer at the start. Because, like, didn't the network did that with events that featured Chris Benoit? Like, it would say, like, something about, like, so characters featured in this event.
Nothing when Vince drops the hard whoopsie, but watch out, Benoit's in this episode.
Well, no, but I mean,
but you could also just, like, instead of removing it, edit it,
or just censor it,
bleep it.
Sure.
Like, if
and
it's,
even
if
still,
it's
you
just,
can put a disclaimer.
If it's text, like it's speech, bleep it.
Right.
And like WWE,
if it's
WWE
something that's
so
written, you can always blur it. Like,
like WWE spent so much time in blurring out the WWF logo
because they had to.
Right. But
so yeah, edit the stuff. You don't have to cut things out completely. It's, I mean, here's the deal.
It's a fine line.
It is. And like, I'm not saying that these things are things that should be like, regular occurrences, or should it be anything in our vernacular right now. But I mean, if you're airing WrestleMania 6, like, I mean, the backstage promo was part of the thing. Like, are you're gonna try and like edit the video that he's not half painted? Like, right. What, I don't know if there was any language used in the promo that was bad, or was just the fact that he was painted, because he's still painted for the match. So, I
don't remember Piper saying anything in that promo that was offensive.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, I'm curious to see, if it's only a couple of things here or there. I mean, and it's stuff that there's a pretty good chance that I'm not necessarily going to go back and watch parts of it anyway. But like, I am curious to see like things from the Attitude Era, like how far is this wand going to brush over things, from that period of time? Because obviously, that's probably the biggest one. In terms of offenses. So it is what it is, and we'll see as things continue to roll out. In terms of like the functionality of the app for the live show, I mean, in terms of my stream, it didn't glitch or anything on me, which the network has done numerous times. Now, I did see some complaints and are valid. Now, the one, like, people say you couldn't pause it. I don't know, that I've never paused a live stream, but like, if you came in late, that you couldn't watch from beginning and catch up. So I hope those are things that, by the time WrestleMania comes around, that like they take, again, as I talked about last week, to take criticisms and and change and update things. William says his friend got the Peacock and says they have too many commercials. Yeah, when you watch things on playback, if you have the $4.99 version, there are commercials throughout.
And they put them in between matches.
Yeah.
Like, they don't understand where the commercial placement should be. They just put them. And like, that's a big problem, especially like, it ruins the continuity and the flow of the show.
Yeah.
Especially like a pay-per-view. Like TV, I understand, because there's naturally built commercial breaks in there. But another problem I heard about Peacock, and I agree with this, is the latency of how soon after how late something would appear on Peacock. Like, I was getting text alerts from WWE's Twitter on finishes to matches up to 2 minutes before I saw it on Peacock. Like,
Yeah.
I saw the finish of the Roman Reigns Daniel Bryan match on Twitter when Edge hit the spear on Daniel Bryan,
Right.
or when he attacked Daniel Bryan. Like, that's when I saw And Still. And I'm like, okay, like, isn't there a guy at the Thunderdome just sitting and watching it on Peacock, waiting?
There
and going,
should be from now
okay,
on.
Send.
Yeah, there definitely should be from now on, because obviously the network is still going to exist everywhere outside of the US. So if this is going to be a continual problem, then they need to get their timing down. Yeah, I mean, I was tweeting during the show, but I just had to not look at like my Twitter as it was rolling. Like, I just had to tweet things as I saw them, not as Twitter saw them. But I don't necessarily want to have to do that for pay-per-views, because, like, so, you know, some of the interaction is like the fun part of watching these shows and interacting with people on Twitter. So you know, I hopefully come Mania they'll either get Peacock and the network you know, on time together. Now, obviously, sometimes if your network lags or something like that, then there will be a couple of seconds here or there. But when you're talking minutes, that's a problem. But yeah, the post from the WWE itself needs to be a little bit more mindful of the timing on that one. So I'm not going to go through every match, because I mean, honestly, quite frankly, the first half of the show, not counting the pre-show match, I thought the pre-show match was actually really good. In hindsight, I wish they would have put that on the main card, but really the first 3 matches on the show were awful, and I'm like, this is not good. I'm like, this show is just really flying off in a bad way. You know, to the tune of, if we're just looking at match grades, the opening match, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler against Sasha and Bianca, I gave the match a D+. I thought
It was
awful.
better than their other tag match.
I hated it.
You hated it, and it still got a D+. Not even an F.
I mean, come on, man. This is
Both
WWE.
teams tried
show.
hard.
I mean, come on. I can't. It's got to be real bad for me to give a WWE match a F. Come on. Let's not get ridiculous here, Matt. Get your head on straight. But like, I thought the show turned around with Rollins and Nakamura. I thought that's where things really started to pick up. But you know, to me, I mean, the no holds barred match was great. I loved Bliss and Orton. Obviously, the return of the Fiend. Is there any of those matches? We'll talk about the main event, because the main event I thought was spectacular. But is there any match, any moment from the show that you guys specifically want to talk about before we talk about the main event?
I want to know your problem with Big E and Apollo. Aside from the finish. Aside from the finish.
Good show. I think that ruined it for me, because beyond that, it was a fine match. But then at the end, everyone was just like, "Wait, what happened?"
Yeah, I mean, it was just short. The finish was, I mean, something. I don't know if it was a mistake, or if it was, if it was supposed to happen that way, so we get to a possible rematch at Mania. I don't know, but it was too short. It was too short, and the end. The end was botchy. It's unfortunate, because I was, that was a match I was looking forward to.
Okay.
Beyond Damian Priest versus Lashley, that was Jim's second dream match for WrestleMania.
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
I thought the Bliss Orton, everything about that I thought was perfect. Yeah. Every single thing. I loved from start to finish. like the lighting falling, spewing up the black stuff again. I thought it was just all fantastic.
So when you say
Everything.
you also mean how dog shit Bray Wyatt looks now?
I mean, that's the point, right? He was set on fire.
He was.
But
he was
they're
perfect.
magical beings. Like, he looks like a walking, dripping booger.
Well, it might all be part of the plan with the Fiend. Maybe he's looking haggard to get Randy to feel comfortable, like he can defeat this corpse. And then at WrestleMania, the Fiend shows up as the Fiend we know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily expect him to look as he did, but I'm glad that he didn't just not show the fact that he was literally set aflame. Like, is it the perfect look for him? Probably not, but it's better than having no effect from the burn at all, aka Kane and his psychological burns.
Look, he was burned as a child.
Talk with a speaker box.
Like, I'm with you on that one, Matt. Like, I loved it. It was what I expected, probably, and more, because I didn't even know how I expected the Fiend to make his return. I loved it. I can't even necessarily think of like the words to say, but it was great. It really was. The light falling and the fireballs, and I mean, kudos to Randy's wife for playing along too on Twitter after the show, with the way Alexa decided to pin old Randall.
All I'm saying is, if they end up changing the match at WrestleMania from Bray and Randy to Bray and Alexa versus Randy and Kim, I ain't mad at it.
Sign me up, man.
Go from RKO to Kim to RKO from Kim all day.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah, that'd be one for the ages right there. Let's talk about the main event, though. Roman Reigns defeating Daniel Bryan, a 30-minute match. Edge, the special enforcer. Obviously, we kind of could tell that it was going to go to a moment where Edge was going to become, was going to get involved in the match and kind of snapped. And, I love the match. It shows that Roman Reigns isn't the same Roman Reigns we knew before. And just an absolutely spectacular match between him and Daniel Bryan. Obviously kind of opens the door too, for them to potentially get Daniel Bryan into the main event at WrestleMania. I don't even necessarily think they have to, but it certainly opens the door with what they did on Sunday. And at this point, I don't think I would totally hate it, but I like, and like, and I didn't really think about it, but like a lot of people like brought up the fact that, like, if you look over Edge's career, like, he hasn't always been obviously this, this babyface guy with his dream comeback story and this and that. Like, over the course of his career, I mean, he was the rated R superstar. The guy was kind of an asshole. So, like, at some point for him to flip that switch was a natural thing to occur, and it happened.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. With Edge is the clear-cut babyface in the whole ordeal. It doesn't necessarily ring true to Edge. So having Daniel play I may be speaking to the wrong cross-section of nerds here, but the evil good spectrum, with kind of Edge playing that chaotic neutral middle, and Daniel Bryan playing lawful good and Roman Reigns playing like lawful evil. It's like, it definitely does make it a little more palatable, because I'm not entirely sold that I want Roman Reigns Edge at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with it. I certainly don't have an issue with it if it is just Roman Reigns and Edge, but with the way that they've been incorporating Daniel Bryan through this, I'd be 100% in for this to become a triple threat. Matt, your thoughts on the main event?
I mean, it would have to be a fatal four-way because you need the Uso.
Well, that's what a lot of people I actually listen to. So a buddy of mine, Terrell, and his best friend do a podcast called the Cash It Podcast, and they were like, if Daniel Bryan gets added, what's Roman Reigns to not pull a power play and go, well, it's not gonna be 2-on-1 for the title. Like, I need somebody, and then you bring Jay in, so Jay's the fourth man, and you finally get to pay that off. Because what does Jay do?
Sure,
Jay's got another shot at the WWE Championship.
Title. If that happens and Jay wins the title, and that's the long play from the towel moment, then
I'm gonna go off. Even if he loses it on Friday at SmackDown, like back to Roman, I don't even care. Like,
that would be a hell of a payoff for that.
And I mean, you could do it in such a way, because like then you could even get like the finger poke of doom movement. Because like, what happened if like Roman was like knocked out outside the ring and like Edge hits the spear on Daniel Bryan and he's about to win,
and then
Jay's like,
Uso splash.
Jay's like, F this, splash, get Edge or Daniel out of there, and he makes the cover and gets the win, only to turn around and give it back to her. Like, that was his way, like, to protect the family. Like, I mean, that would be a spectacular way, like, to just pay off all of these little things at a time. But yeah, that would be awesome.
Can we take a moment to, I know half of the podcast here is very Sheamus, what's the word I'm looking for? Anti-Sheamus?
Yeah, like
Sheamus adverse.
On the right side of the, as you're watching, the right side of the podcast is not a Sheamus house.
How'd y'all feel about those two big meaty men bumping meats and beating the shit out of each other for 19 minutes?
I enjoyed that match. I thought it was great. I'll certainly eat my. I was trying to think of like a potato reference.
I'll eat my haggis.
I'll eat my fries.
Yeah, I thought it was a good hoss fight. I mean, they did lay it on a little thick with the Scottish and Irish references. But I mean, the match overall.
What are you talking about? We literally had Mel Gibson from Braveheart in this matchup.
William Wallace.
But yeah, I thought like it traveled well around the arena. I liked that aspect of it too. I thought that match, I mean, I had low expectations for it, admittedly, and it exceeded them by a lot. So,
how about you, Mark?
Yep, same thing. I had very low expectations for that match. Really wasn't looking forward to it at all, to be honest with you. But I thought it was one of the better matches of the card. Yeah, it was very well done. I did enjoy it. I'm sorry, Sheamus. What I said.
I mean, he should have come out with like the green vest and like something, just to, like, if you're gonna go over the top with the references and everything, and you're gonna have Drew come out with the William Wallace paint, then you need to have Sheamus dial it up too. Like
something. Yep. Yeah, they really should have done something with
missed opportunity.
Like, get Bailey's wacky, wavy, inflatable arm flailing men to make like a little rainbow, and Sheamus could come out with a pot of gold.
Like Scottish
That was
Scotland is known for just all these great warriors and legendary heroes, and all Ireland's going to be known for is little puny Conor McGregor and like the lucky leprechaun.
Lucky Charms.
Yeah, that's about it. Like nobody even thinks about like Notre Dame fighting Irish. Like
No.
that's Notre Dame. That's not even Ireland. Like what?
Yeah, they're in Indiana. They're not even in Ireland.
They're not even from. They don't even know what rainbows look like.
But Mark, your thoughts on the main event?
Boy, the main event, I thought that was the match of the night. It was very good. I was looking forward to seeing Roman Reigns and Edge, the main event WrestleMania. But the more I think about it, if they are going to put Daniel Bryan in there, I think it'd make more sense to add Jey Uso as well and make it a fatal four-way rather than a triple threat. So we'll see what happens. But I'm kind of liking that idea if they do go with the fatal four-way.
Or they'll bring they can bring Goldberg in and they all just spear each other.
Yeah, he's probably not doing anything.
Oh man, I'm very sorry. We've lost Matt's visual feed. He's no longer. Something's gone wrong.
I hate it when that
technically.
happens.
He's just, he's back. Everything's great.
I hate it when that happens. Great for the show overall. Tim.
That's a solid C. It didn't surprise me with anything. If anything, it just makes me realize that we don't need Elimination Chamber and Fastlane. Give me one and make it really good, as opposed to give me two and make them like not.
Right.
You know, it was cool to see the Fiend come back, and it was cool to like get me the Edge deal. But other than that, like, it's a whole bunch of like same stuff leading into Mania.
Right.
That's it.
Matt.
Yeah, it didn't really like get me excited for any of this stuff coming into Mania because I still don't really know where they're going with a lot of it. Like, I'm excited about what's going to happen with the Fiend, but what are we doing with him at this point? I'm not really excited about a singles match between Edge and Roman, but you know, if we're not getting anything but that, then that makes this even more of a disappointment, I would say. So I still have it as a C plus, just because it exceeded my expectations for a Fastlane, but it didn't overwhelm me. And like you said, the first three matches were absolute dog shit. I was ready to turn it off when we hit that Old Place commercial. I was like, and we got the Matt Riddle promo. I was like, this is just oof.
Yeah. Also, like if we're on the road to Sheamus beating up Towley for his United States Championship at WrestleMania, based on what we saw on Raw this past Monday, I'm all for that. He can keep hitting him with that scooter all freaking day. Intern Mark, you're great for the show.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give it a C. Same thing everybody else already said. First part of that pay-per-view, I had set the bar low for the pay-per-view, and I thought I should have set it lower, but it did get better in the second half. But overall, I mean, we all knew this was going to be kind of a throwaway pay-per-view. I mean, they got to kind of fill the space or the void for pay-per-views between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. But yeah, overall, it was a C. I wasn't. I was more interested in 90 Day Fiance that night than I was in the pay-per-view.
I feel like you can say that about a lot of nights and a lot of things, though. If we're being totally transparent and honest with each other, I feel like that's not out of the ordinary for you, Mark. It got a C plus for me. The second half of the show definitely revived it, because the start was really not good. I think on our Twitter poll, the majority was between a B and a C. So I think we're all kind of in the same boat, that like Devin here gave it a C plus. It wasn't great, but it did get redeemed by the later portions of the match or of the show. So before we go to a break, guys, yesterday was National Cheesesteak Day, and I listened to the Preston and Steve show in WMMR out of Philly, and they got onto a debate on their show because one of the guys on the show said that, you know, like for a cheesesteak, you know, the one person argued that it has to be the steak, the cheese, the onions on the long roll, whereas somebody else on the show argued that it is the ingredients that make up it being a cheesesteak. It doesn't necessarily need the vessel of the long roll. Now, he said, I agreed with this, that the best form is on the long roll, but it is more the ingredients that make it up, not the vessel itself. So I thought I'd bring this topic to the table. We always end up talking about food at some point, so I figured we might as well hit this one. If cheesesteak ingredients are not on a long sub roll, is it a cheesesteak?
No.
Tim?
It's a cheesesteak in the form of whatever it is. So it's not like, for example, there are certain restaurants that do cheesesteak egg rolls, where it's all the ingredients of the cheesesteak, but it's in an egg roll. I'm not calling that a cheesesteak. I'm calling them cheesesteak egg rolls, like cheesesteak pizza. A cheesesteak is the ingredients on the long roll, and then like it changes based on what it is. Like if you put it on a bagel, it's still a sandwich, but it's like, then it's a steak and cheese on a bagel, or like I would call it like a Philly cheese bagel or something like that, but I wouldn't call it like a cheese steak, because you have the visual when you say cheesesteak, you have the visual of the long roll, the meat, the cheese, the onion. And like, even if you like pick and parcel things off of that, like if you don't like onions or you don't want cheese, or even like if you're like differentiating between whiz or without, like if you want provolone,
if you have a different cheese versus like over cheese.
Like,
yeah, I mean, I think it has to have those basic ingredients. You know, I'll always put onions on. If people don't or can't eat onions, then that's one thing.
Yeah.
But like if someone's like, hey, Matt, do you want a cheesesteak? And I say yes, and then they give it to me in a tortilla, I'm going to say this is a wrap, not a cheesesteak.
But it's like a cheesesteak wrap. Like,
right. But if they're not specifying the wrap part of it, I'm assuming I'm getting the long bread.
Right.
So I think it has to have those. And I mean, from those, as long as it has the meat and the cheese and the roll, for me, it's a cheesesteak. You can add toppings to it. I think when you get into condiments, that's when it kind of gets away from it. But I mean, if you're putting like grilled peppers, grilled onions, grilled mushrooms in your cheesesteak, I would still consider that. But once you start putting like mayo, ketchup, stuff like that, then we're getting away.
So like a cheesesteak hoagie, or like a California cheesesteak. I mean, that that is a form.
And at that point, I'm calling it a hoagie. I'm like, with it, even with like certain toppings too. Like I think beyond grilled vegetables, if you're putting shredded lettuce or tomatoes, then you're not eating a cheesesteak anymore.
So what about cheesesteaks with sauce?
It's tough.
Because
it's more like a pizza
tomato
steak.
sauce is just fancy ketchup. And you said if you start putting ketchup on it, it takes it away. So hot, fancy ketchup, where does that stand?
I wouldn't consider that, just because it's kind of like Jim said, it's more of like a pizza steak.
Like an Italian cheesesteak. Gabagool.
Gravy, by the way.
Intern Mark, your thoughts.
I'll tell you what, there's a pizza place right here, not very far from me, that makes the best cheesesteaks. And they don't put it in that traditional roll. They put it in this bread they bake fresh. They kind of almost cut a hole in it and fill it. And it's amazing. So, yeah, I don't know if the vessel is as important just because of that, because that roll kind of thing they put it in. I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like a pocket of bread, and it's amazing.
Is it almost like a bread bowl, like you would get soup in?
No, it's more. I mean, you can pick this up and you eat it with your hands, like with a soup bowl. You don't
Okay.
always eat the bowl.
But is it
boy, I'll
like
tell
is
you,
it long? Is it long like a baguette, or is it like?
it's let me think here. No, it's not really long like a baguette. It's kind of
What's the name of this joint?
it's P&J's. They have several pizza places around here. They have Sal's Pizza Place here in Elizabethtown. It's they're an Italian family, and the kids started branching off and making their own having their own restaurants. I think they own 4 of them around here. But boy, they are delicious. I don't know if they'd have a picture of it on their website.
I'm looking.
Yeah, because I think like they had kind of like as the argument they tried to get out of the argument. I think they said like because there's a place in New Jersey that it was like it was featured on the Goldbergs, and they have their cheesesteak is served like on a Kaiser roll. So like I think they had kind of said like if it is on like a long roll or some form of like bakery roll, like you can kind of consider it cheesesteak. But if you start like going outside of it, and like for me, you know, again, my preferred method of cheesesteak is on the long roll, but like I still kind of look at the ingredients as like what makes it up. Like I'm not necessarily hung up on the vessel. Like, yeah, obviously if it's a cheesesteak egg roll, like it is an egg roll, not a sandwich.
I mean, by that account, like if someone said, "Hey Jim, do you want a cheesesteak?" and you said yes, please, and they gave you the steak, cheese, and onions on like 2 pieces of Wonder Bread or like hamburger roll, you're not questioning that at all.
I mean, here's the deal. I would eat it. I'd be like, this is a strange choice of bread, but like, you know, in my mind, I'm still eating cheesesteak. Like if I'm not, I mean, I may not necessarily call it a cheesesteak, but I'm still eating cheesesteak.
I think what it boils down to is Philly taking the Philadelphia style cheesesteak and calling that a cheesesteak, as opposed, like, to me, like, now that it's all been like said and parted out, the Philly cheesesteak is long roll, condiments, that's like meat, cheese, onions, maybe peppers, that's it. But if I were to get the exact same thing on like a hot dog bun, that's a cheesesteak sandwich. But it's not a Philly cheese. Like,
right. And I think that's the thing, because obviously like most of them on the show are like from Philly. They all obviously live in Philly now. So like, yes, to me, if somebody says, do you want a Philly cheesesteak? And you don't serve it to me long roll whiz with onions, I'm going to be mad. But if you just like, you say, do you want cheesesteak? And you give it to me on some sort of sandwich bread, you give me like, then I'm not going to get like super hung up. But if you specify the word Philly, because like, I mean, you know, we watch like a lot of like diners, drive-ins, and dives and stuff, and like there's places in like Idaho that are serving a Philly cheesesteak, and it's like there's like mushrooms and peppers, and they're all this like other weird shit that they put on it, and it's like on some weird like French bread. And I'm like, no, it's like, you can call it a cheesesteak, don't call it a Philly cheesesteak. Like stop trying to attach, because that's not what you're doing. You're changing what a Philly cheesesteak is.
It's almost the same conversation that like people in New York or Chicago, or I'm trying to think of the other pizza hub, but like
Detroit's kind of
what's a pizza,
right?
And like,
because they on the show they said like, is French bread pizza?
Yes,
like yes it is. Like, so are like bagel pizzas, or
it's a but again, like, if I were to say I want pizza and somebody brings me a French bread pizza, I will deem it as an acceptable substitution. But when you say pizza, I'm thinking pizza pie. I'm thinking the whole pizza.
I'm thinking a round pizza or a Sicilian pizza.
Just like
Otherwise, I'm like, thanks for the pizza boat, because that's what this is. But I'm
yeah.
Oh my God, the old Warwick High School pizza
just
boat.
like Just like a tomato pie isn't a pizza.
Well, correct. Yeah, that's something different. Now, tomato pie can be very delicious, but that is not a pizza.
You know, tomato pie was a learned taste, because the first time I ever had it, this actually ties to wrestling. So guys, I found a way.
See, it always comes back.
So when I used to do commentary for Excellence, one of the cool things about Excellence was the owner, Edgar, the short-haired heir of Excellence. I don't know what he's doing now. I'm sure he's doing fine. Or not, I don't know. But anyway, he would provide food for all the workers every show. So sometimes it would be pizza, sometimes it would be like sandwiches and pretzels and chips and like bananas, and he'd have water and Gatorade for all the boys for the entire night. And like his wife would make homemade brownies, and they were a kick, and like some people wanted like whole trays themselves, and she'd do it, and it was dope. But one day I went and I see like these 2 or 3 big long boxes that look like pizza boxes coming into the arena in Sellersville. And I'm like, oh boy, we're having pizza. I'm so excited. And we have our meeting, and you know, Edgar does this thing, and yeah, hey guys, we're just gonna have a great show. And then he goes, all right, everybody go eat. And of course, I, you know, being fat, and this is where I can lean on Big Jim, when you're fat and there's a free food line, as a man of size, it is your responsibility to not be in the front of the line.
Yep.
But not be in the back of the line.
Yep.
Like you gotta count. You're counting like one.
Like, all right,
2.
there's okay, so I don't want to look like a pig here.
I got a friend here in slot 7. I can cut. We can Indian skip.
I'm gonna go stand with him.
We can't even say Indian skip anymore. I'm gonna cut him and get behind him.
I'm gonna cut in line.
I'm gonna cut in line, but I'm gonna get behind the guy I cut.
Yeah.
So I'm technically cutting the guy in front, but
like, you know, we were together. He's holding my spot.
Yeah, he's holding my spot, and I slip him a 5 ski, and he gives it back later.
Yeah, I'm gonna, you know,
but I'm like, this is pizza. This is dope. And I open it up, and it's a pizza with no cheese and no nothing. And I'm like, excuse me, this is not complete.
Sorry, this is
an incomplete.
It's not okay.
This is an incompletion. We're second down. This is second down. I need cheese. At least on this, maybe some Italian meats cut in small circles on this thing. Maybe if I were Ryan, I would want something else on my pizza as well.
I'm a sausage guy.
But if anything else, like I need something else. And they were like, oh, it's a tomato pie. I'm like, what's a tomato pie? They're like, eat it. And then I ate like 4 slices.
Yeah, I mean, here's it. I've had good tomato pie. I've also had bad tomato pie, and if you get into a bad tomato pie situation,
tomato pie can go south quick if it's not made.
I think it deals with like the temperature of the tomato pie.
I think it also depends on the sauce, because we had a friends of ours had a party one time, and they had gotten tomato pies. I don't know, from the restaurant somewhere in Lancaster County, and it was the first time I ever had it. I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot. Took a bite. I'm like, wow, this is really good. So then we were at Giant, the grocery store, and they had these fresh tomato pies that like were made in their bakery. I was like, well, that looks pretty darn good. We get it, we take it home, we bake it up, we go to, and it was tasteless. It was freaking disgusting. And I'm like, I can't eat this. I literally can't even eat this. We threw it out. We got pizza.
Tomato pie, not pizza.
It's not pizza.
A Philly steak in any other form than the long roll with meat and cheese and onion is not a Philly
steak.
It's not
all
a
right.
steak.
All right. Well, we came to agreement on that one. I think we're going to go to a break. We come back. We're going to talk about this, the 50 greatest women list. We're going to have our question of the week and our news and rumors. Stick with us. 3 Count Thursday live.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Are you looking for a place to listen to your favorite music and sports? Look no further. WLSN, the Leeb Sports and Music Network, is a web-based music and sports network. Our network was created to provide authentic, high-energy entertainment through live streaming to a national audience. We play popular music while hosting podcasts from all over the world. Curious? Check us out on the web at leebsports.com. That's LEEIB sports.com. Or find us on the TuneIn Radio app. Got Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play WLSN on TuneIn. WLSN is America's #1 blog-themed sports and music network.
Welcome back, 3 Count Thursday live, facebook.com/3 Count Thursday. Make sure you're subscribed to the show. All podcast platforms, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you're subscribed to YouTube. Following us on social media, go to 3countthursday.com for everything 3 Count Thursday related. And we are glad to be with you. If you're following along with us in the live video, give us a like and a share. We'd appreciate that. Get as many people in here interacting with us as we go through the rest of our topics for the night. And we did have the 3 count question of the week. This past week, it was official. I think actually Sunday night, post Fastlane, the news came out that Andrade officially released from the WWE. This was something I think we had talked about. Was it last week, the week before? I can't remember exactly when he had asked for his release. It wasn't granted, but finally he has been released from his WWE deal. So obviously the buzz began of where people think he's going to end up, where people want him to end up. So I thought it was a great topic. Where would you like to see him sign and continue his pro wrestling career? I see Matt has the shirt. Matt, do you want to lead us off?
Sure. I would like to see him kind of anywhere. I think what makes the most sense, though, is a run in Ring of Honor at this point. I think he gets lost in AEW. I said I would want to see him anywhere, but I don't want to see him in Impact. That was that was an overstatement.
Anywhere, but Impact, maybe not.
If he has to, so be it. I think Ring of Honor makes the most sense. I think they could put together a good program for him in AEW. I just don't know that they run the course with that, because we've seen, after the shock value of Miro, what did they do with Miro?
Yeah.
So I would hate to see that happen to him there. So Ring of Honor would be my choice. New Japan a close second.
Tim, how about you?
I think he goes to New Japan. I think that they sign him there. It gives him the opportunity to work Impact and AEW with the Forbidden Door. But Andrade is an international talent. It can get him over there and be with the Los Ingobernables de Japón, which he was an original member of the Ingobernables. So it makes sense for him to fit over in that world with Naito and kind of fit into that group, especially since I believe, I'm trying to think who spun out from that group recently. Didn't Evil spin out? Somebody spun out from the LIJ. But Andrade, and I believe Andrade actually gets to keep his name.
Okay.
Yep, he actually will get to be Andrade wherever he goes.
Good on him.
Did we hear the story about what possibly happened?
So was it that Charlotte like threatened to quit or something?
Yes.
Or do we buy it to that level?
Without question.
Wow. I mean,
yes.
If that is indeed true, that is awesome. Like seriously.
Like
yeah.
You know,
and apparently Rick had Charlotte's back.
Sure. I mean, like, here's the deal. If she leaves whenever she's, you know, her deal's up or whatever, and how that gets settled, she's going to land somewhere. And that, like, regularly when people, you know, leave or get released from the WWE, like I have said many a time with a lot of it, is like, I don't think this one's going to hurt the WWE. Like if Charlotte's gone and ends up somewhere else, that one's going to hurt them. Like that's one that would hurt. So and it's like, it's a shame that it came to that. Like I mean, I get it. You don't you realize that a wrestler is talented and you don't want them to end up somewhere else. However, if you've gotten to the point where you're basically going to have them, you know, ride their time out in catering and they're just going to end up somewhere else anyway, like it is. I mean, I get it. It's business, you know, don't sign the contract, whatever. But, you know, good on Charlotte to stand up and take that step if that is indeed true. In turn, Mark, where do you think he ends up?
Well, I was just thinking about what would happen where Charlotte would go if she left. That would be crazy to see Charlotte in AEW.
As I say, I think there's only one company that can truly afford that.
Yeah, wouldn't that, boy, that would really be wild. I could see Andrade going over to New Japan for sure. Personally, I'd like to see him in Ring of Honor. But with the New Japan, if he kind of dabbled even in Impact and AEW, not as a full-time wrestler, but just, you know, kind of pop up here and there, I think he would add a lot to it. But I'd hate to see him, at least at this point, go to AEW and get lost in that shuffle, because they really bringing in, I guess, the Big Show to a smaller extent. He's not an active competitor, but the way they pretty much botched Nero's debut and his push, I still want to see that happen to Andrade. So New Japan, what I'd say, would be first, and then Ring of Honor would be my second choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ring of Honor and New Japan would be best. I think those are the places I'd like to see him end up. And it's not that I don't think that he could succeed in AEW. I think he could be a great get for AEW. But you know, if you look at the numbers, and people, you know, they can make the excuse of, you know, they're just bringing in guys for Dark and Elevation and Evolution and Revolution and Excitement or whatever their 14 YouTube shows are that they put 47 matches a week on. But like, there's a large number of people that work under that umbrella, that there's actual AEW signed talent that is already getting lost in the mix. And you know, it can, part of it maybe because of the pandemic, that, you know, you're having trouble just figuring out what to do with people, whatever. I don't know exactly what the problem is, but with a talent like Andrade, maybe he would benefit of the fact that he'd be one of the new toys, because Tony Khan seems to like to play with new toys. But you know, eventually the new toy thing, the joy of the new toy wears off, and then I'd be afraid he'd get lost. So I'd love to see him in Ring of Honor. But yeah, like you said, if he does go to New Japan, especially, you know, later this year, whatever, as some of the restrictions on the pandemic hopefully fingers crossed, will begin to ease a bit, that you can do a little bit more in the way of international travel, and then he could work in Impact, he could work in AEW, but is actually a featured talent in New Japan. I think a lot of people, we had a few responses, AEW, but I saw some overwhelming response for a Ring of Honor. And then some people just said, like, he's going to be great wherever he lands up, which is, 100% accurate. The dude is like unbelievably great. And, and again, I don't know if this is one that 5 years ago, like WWE, I don't know necessarily hurts the WWE, but this is a big miss, and we talked about the miss with Rusev and how much, not utilizing him to his potential was a huge mistake. And Andrade feels like a huge missed opportunity as well. I know he had the U.S. title run, but I felt like there was a possibility for so much more. And then you go back to his time in NXT, and sometimes the left hand and the right hand don't exactly meet in the middle. And I think that's another instance that happened here, because this was a huge main roster miss for me.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's one of the ones that they're going to look back on and be like, a lot of regret for a lot of programs that they could have done with Andrade. And I think there's a few people currently on the roster that will eventually follow suit, and they'll say the same things. I think we mentioned them in our awards, like mainly Alistair, Ricochet. There's a lot of talent that sometimes they just get sopped up, they get lost in the fold, kind of like what's happening with AEW. It's unfortunate, but I think this one stands out more as a big whiff on WWE's part.
And that kind of leads to like what the follow-up question would be, which is, what about Aleister Black? I feel like Aleister Black is very much the same as Andrade. Like,
yeah,
he's being paid to stay home or come but not be used, and he's just there. And Big Show used the phrase, if you guys haven't listened to, or if you don't listen to Oral Sessions with Renee Paquette, that's a really good podcast to listen to, because she's in this weird spot where she can get AEW and WWE people.
Yeah.
And she got Big Show, like, literally at Full Gear or Revolution. And he used the phrase Shady Acres.
Yeah.
When referring to WWE having you and not wanting to use you, you get put in Shady Acres. And he was like, I don't want to be in Shady Acres. I'm not ready to go there.
Right.
And that's kind of where a lot of other people are going now. Like, I'm thinking of people right now, like, I don't even know what their statuses are, as whether they're hurt or not, but like Jinder Mahal, Mojo Rawley, I
think Jinder got hurt again, because he had come back, and then I think he was off. I don't remember if it was shoulder or a knee again.
But
his was an injury. But Mojo disappeared,
and Mojo could have been reinvented in like a group like Retribution.
Could have been,
like, actually reinvented, like not being a hype guy. And like,
right,
Mickey James, as Devin just said in the group chat, Mickey James is like ripe for the picking.
And I know she had gotten hurt, but this was back.
She was at the Rumble.
Yeah, it was like June, July. She had been hurt, so she was out for a little while. She came back at the Rumble, and
But then we have spots for like Tamina, and we have spots for like it's just weird and wild. Like, who's pushed, who's or not even pushed, who's used, who's not used, who's misused. And like WWE doesn't use certain guys. Like, thank God that they got the point to stop putting Velveteen Dream on NXT television.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most.
Like, how many times did they have to get asked the question on like the press junkets for
Yeah.
them to go, all right, maybe we should just pull him off for a while.
But like Angel Garza is like a non-factor right now on WWE television.
Yeah, and I thought he was destined for big things. Like if you go back over the summer and into the fall, like I thought they were going to do stuff with him. So yeah, it's
Ricochet, Tucker. Like I think he sucks, but like I think Tucker's not very good. And then like there's other guys that like are still under contract and I don't know how, like Bo Dallas. How is Bo Dallas still on a roster?
Right. Like, I mean, I just assume that at some point he signed the 5-year deal and is just still on the 5-year deal.
I guess it's a really useful 5-year deal, but like another person that I'm scrolling through the list and there's two guys that are standing out. And I know one is a guy who, he's been staying relevant with like social media, but Kalisto hasn't been doing it, and Kalisto's done nothing.
Well,
and then, they broke up Lucha House Party.
Right.
He went to SmackDown, and he has not been seen since the draft. It's been 161 days and no Kalisto.
Yeah,
and yet, like, if you see his promos on social media, the guy is ripped right now. Like, he is TV ready. Like,
I mean, what else do you do in a pandemic?
Like, why not have
either work out
Kalisto,
or you get fatter? I got fatter.
Yeah, why not have Kalisto go 2-on-1 against the Mysterios? And like do Kalisto and Ray. Like they would be great. But another person is Murphy.
Well, yeah, I mean, he recently came back, but yeah, that the whole with the Mysterio storyline that
blew up because of the COVID stuff, right? Wasn't he?
Oh, did they all get they all got COVID?
There was like beef with Cutler, Wesley Blake, and him.
Oh.
And I think all three of them like got popped for COVID or something. And like Cutler took the fall because Cutler's gone.
Yeah.
But Cutler and Blake were originally King Corbin's men.
Oh, that's right.
And then that stopped being a thing. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it's wild how some of these storylines move. But yeah, I hope Alistair, whether he asked for his release, I don't know when his deal is supposedly up, but he's another one that needs to be wrestling somewhere. I mean,
and to be honest, he's a guy who should and will go to AEW.
Yeah.
Like if AEW does not know what to do with Alistair Black, then they don't know what to do at all.
I mean, isn't Myro still in that goofy? How haven't they broken him off of that?
They're about to have the blow off match. Next week on AEW. It's a.
What gimmick did they attach to this match?
AEW.
Oh, it's like an arcade match or something, isn't
Arcade Anarchy. It's going to take place in an arcade.
Of course it is.
But that's going to be cool.
Yeah, just
like it's going to look cool.
I just hope coming out of it that they can finally get Miro right, cuz like I'm like, man, ever since his debut, I just feel like it has just been bad after bad after bad. But yeah, hopefully they can figure that one out, and if hopefully Alistair can find his way. So thank you everyone for your responses on the question of the week, and see where Andrade ends up. The 3-count question of the week. And then let's go. This has been airing on Peacock and the WWE Network all this week, hosted by Sarah Schreiber, WWE, the top 50 list of the greatest women's superstar in the modern era. Any female superstar from 1993 to the present. Criteria for the list are heavily based on in-ring accomplishments, championship victories, and creating legendary moments. Those who primarily made their mark outside of the ring also highlighted throughout the series. I sent you guys the list earlier, and I feel like this list is just all sorts of bad. Like, do I want to I don't necessarily want to read all of them off, but like, who are some? Because I want to go over who we think will be our top five. Because the top five will be unveiled tomorrow, I believe. Because they got 10 through 6 today. Who were some of the ones that jumped out to you guys to where they were that were the most kind of egregious on this list, whether it was too high, too low, who they were above, and so forth? Because I feel like there was a lot of these that, not that certain superstars shouldn't have been on the list or what have you, but positioning on the list I thought was a little off to me on some of them. I mean, the first one that jumps out to me, Stephanie McMahon at 23. Like, how is Stephanie McMahon, besides the obvious, how is Stephanie McMahon at 23? Like, I mean, she was the women's champion at one time. Was she a multi-time women's champion? Like, but I mean, some of the people that she's above, I'm just going, how is?
So,
I mean,
go ahead, Matt.
If the criteria did say memorable moments too, correct?
Yeah, creating legendary moments.
I mean, the close wedding with the Undertaker, the drive-through wedding with Triple H, the wedding with Test. I mean, those are the same moment, but still, like, those are two huge moments in my opinion.
Well, you're okay. You're right. You're right.
And then
Ronda's first match.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Brie Bella match.
Okay. All right. All right.
Like,
maybe it does make a little bit more sense.
I feel like they put that qualifier in because you can make an argument for anyone on the list and their positioning, because you can bring up a moment that was huge.
Yeah. So for those watching along on following along on Facebook, I'm putting the full listing on full screen right now for everyone. But Stephanie McMahon is 23. She is notably above Io Shirai at 25, the Bella Twins at 26, Melina at 27, also Bull Nakano, Naomi,
Miss Jacqueline,
Eve Torres.
Gail Kim's on there too. At 33, Gail Kim.
For
yeah,
me,
like
Gail Kim. I think Gail Kim's one of the top women's wrestlers of all time, but most of her stuff did not come in WWE. So I can see how they can justify that.
I mean, to be and you know, like, business politics aside or whatever, I'm almost surprised that Gail Kim was A, on the list, and B, even as high as 33.
I mean, I think she, like, tongue in cheek, tweeted that as well when
she did. I saw that on Twitter. But like, I always saw that she was on the list, and she was, I mean, even kind of that high, but I was actually kind of surprised, because she has been, you know, right, wrong, or indifferent, depends where your opinion on the situation lies. She's been very vocal anti WWE over the years. So, you know, and obviously I don't work there. I've never worked there. So I can't speak to that either way. So, but, you know, sometimes the WWE, if you speak out against them, you're not going to end up on things like Hall of Fames or whatever. We're looking at you, Demolition. You know, so if you speak out against the company, sometimes they don't put you on things that they produce. So I'm kind of surprised she was on.
Yeah. I understand why she's this high, but I think Ronda Rousey in the top 10 is too high for Ronda Rousey, given the shortness of her time in WWE.
Yeah, I could have seen somewhere between like
definitely top 20. I
yeah,
would.
I was gonna say somewhere 15 to 20, something like that. Because I mean, she's a huge name. Her time there was impactful, and obviously part of the first women's main event at WrestleMania. But I would not have had her in the top 10.
I think putting the Bella twins on as just one entry does a disservice to the Bella twins.
And like 26 is really
low
for both.
Like we have our fun at the Bella twins' expense,
Well,
but
I will say
that
this
makes sense. If Nikki is first and Brie is 50th, then that averages. But
I mean, I would say Nikki and AJ, the two longest reigning women's champs, would both probably deserve to be a lot higher than they are. Probably top 15, top 10 possibly. But if we're basing it off of like championship reigns and moments, I mean the Bellas and AJ are involved in the women's pipe bomb, and that was kind of the turning point of the revolution. So,
and like also, like I'm looking at the list, and no offense, but Shotzi Blackheart at 46. Has she done enough to even make a top 50 list?
I not in WWE.
Like, and she's above Sonya Deville.
Yeah, I mean she's above Kaylee Ray, who has been the NXT UK Women's Champion.
That promotion doesn't exist, Jim.
Oh, sorry, that's true. What am I thinking?
But like, I'm nitpicking. Like
she's higher than Caitlyn, who was at least a Divas champion, right?
But Caitlyn is like, to me, Caitlyn is on the low end. Like she's
but at least she was I'm not saying she should be even above 45, but should she be higher than Shotzi Blackheart? Who
higher than Shotzi Blackheart?
Right. I mean,
I really love both of those wrestlers, but I mean, even putting Caitlyn in the top 50, if she came in right at number 50, I would have been like, oh, good for her.
Right.
So,
we just got to start somewhere.
Like, is it literally just these 50 women that have competed since 93 till now? Is that what, like,
no, because like there's no Bertha Faye. There's no trying to think, like no Miss Terry, no the Cat.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. No. Well, where's Ivory?
Is
28?
Is Deborah not on there either?
Deborah's not on the list.
Did Deborah ever wrestle though?
I don't think she actually wrestled.
I don't think she actually wrestled.
Right.
Okay.
They have Rhea Ripley at 21.
High.
And I like Rhea a lot, and I think she's going to be great.
I think she's...
It's a little early for 21.
The fact that she's higher than Michelle McCool is insane.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley should be like 35-ish.
And Alexa Bliss at 13.
I mean, I love Alexa Bliss, but that feels a little high.
That is low.
Is it? Yeah.
Like, she's a top 10 greatest of all time. Like,
you flip Alexa Bliss and Ronda Rousey, I think that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I could be fine with
because
that.
I'm cool with the top 10 except for Ronda.
Yeah.
Would you put Ronda in between Mickey and Victoria? And maybe flip like Mickey and Beth? Like make Mickey's 11?
Mickey and Beth, I think, like, it's tough to leave either of them out of the top 10. So I think, like, I would put Mickey ahead of Beth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that.
And what's notable is the top 5 that's on that graphic that's missing, which is Charlotte, Trish, Becky, Chyna, and Asuka.
China.
And
So wait, did we mention Tori Wilson not being on the list?
Tori Wilson's not on the list. Stacy Keibler's not on the list.
That's a Hall of Famer.
I don't see how Tori's not on the list. I mean, Stacy, I don't think ever wrestled in WWE.
She had like the bra and
Stacy,
panty
yes,
matches,
she
whatever they were.
absolutely wrestled.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
true. Maybe
Maybe it's a different
when they're
era.
celebrating Women's History Month, they're trying to not include bra and panty matches.
But if that's the case, then like, if that's the case on this list, like Sable,
right?
Like Sable was like the first Playboy Playmate for.
That's true.
Who else? Who else is on Playboy?
China.
China did Playboy. Gail Kim, didn't she do Playboy?
Gail Kim did.
TNA?
Maurice did, but not when she worked for WWE.
Oh, Maurice at 37 is nuts. Like
Maria Kanellis did the Playboy.
Yeah, Maria. Maria's not on the list.
Nope.
Well, that's a shame.
Candice Michelle's not on the list, and that's insane.
Yeah.
It's just it's weird to me that like
there's a lot of glaring omissions there. Like
let me just go through the list of like WWE Women's Champions.
Yeah, because I feel like there are a number of champions missing, which
I'm just
when you're putting like Shotzi and
I'll say this. I mean, I think we all kind of know who the top 5 is going to be, but if me saying Tori Wilson belongs on here, if she's somehow in the top 5, then wow.
Okay, yeah, because if she is somehow in the top 5, that means Charlotte, Trish, Becky, Chyna, or Asuka is not on the list.
Who's not on the list?
China.
No, but who's getting in the top 5 that's not those?
If Tori Wilson would somehow be in the top 5, she would bump.
Definitely deserves top 50.
Yeah.
But if she's not on this list yet because she's in the top 5, then that's a huge mistake as well.
Yeah. So I'm going from the bottom up of looking at omissions of people that were women's champion but not on the list.
Gotcha.
Candice Michelle was a 105-day champion in 2007, not on the list. Jazz
is on there.
Jazz is at 38.
Jazz is at 38. Never mind. Redacted.
Probably could have been higher a little bit.
Yeah. The Cat. The Fabulous Moolah. Deborah. Bertha Faye. And that's it. Because everybody else is like Alundra Blaze, Bull Nakano.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand why Fabulous Moolah is not on the list.
Sure. Especially with Peacock.
And then there's the Divas Championship.
Right, because I mean, if we're talking modern day. I mean, we're talking 93 till now.
So since then,
Deborah held the title, so she definitely should be in the top 50.
Jillian Hall, Alicia Fox.
Yeah, that okay.
How is Foxy not on the list?
I'm not a big Alicia Fox fan, but she should be on this list.
Where's Natty? Natty's 20.
Natty's at 20.
Okay.
Natty's here.
Too high.
Yeah, it's
too low, too high, however you want to call it.
Yeah, it's just not. But
it's a weird list.
It's an imperfect science with lists.
It feels like they tried to put too many current people on this just to make the current roster look better than it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it feels like.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean,
love Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans is not in the top 50 right now. Shotzi Blackheart is
especially not at 39. Like,
I love Ember Moon, but what has Ember Moon done to be in the top 50 at this point?
Yeah, definitely not over some of the ones that were omitted.
Yeah.
I mean, Shotzi. Kelly, kind of. But, like, Nikki Cross.
Kelly was a 24/7 champion, so she has to be on the list.
Nikki Cross.
She was a Divas champion.
That's right. Alicia Fox was.
Yeah, Foxy was. And, like...
And Maria Kanellis.
That's...
Yeah, she was like one of the first ones.
Which I mean, she,
Yeah,
you know,
she was.
she kind of got the treatment I thought that Gail Kim was going to get, not to get on the list,
Right.
you know. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely a weird list. In the top 10 so far, Bailey at 10, Ronda 9, Lita 8, Alundra Blaze 7, Sasha Banks 6.
You think Sonny's in the top 5?
No way.
Not the top 5 most
There's
wanted.
there is a button on the board for a percentage that Sonny is on this list.
0.0.
Easy.
Yeah, I don't think she's bumping any of these top 5 either. She's on it. She's on a list that, but not a.
Golly, Maria Kanellis was the 31st 24/7 champion.
And she's not on the list.
Yeah, man. I would love to do a game with you guys one day of like a, if you guys remember, at least 2 of you will probably remember this. Stump the Schwab.
Yes. I
Where
love Stump the Schwab.
I basically make you all go in order, like a round robin, and you have to name all the champions.
Oh,
but
wow.
all the 24/7 champions.
Oh,
wow. And we have to get all of our truth's reigns in order too.
Well, no, so like our truth counts as 1.
Okay.
You don't have to like, you don't go
77 times or something by now.
51.
51.
Yeah, 51.
Is Bad Bunny still the current champion, correct?
No.
Wait, he's not?
Bad Bunny traded the 24/7 championship to R-Truth for a Stone Cold Steve Austin lunchbox and the Smoking Skull title.
Okay, all right. That I forgot.
That was a thing that happened on Monday Night Raw like 2 weeks ago.
Crazy.
Yes.
All right. So let's do what our top 5 would be. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be based off of where they currently are on this list. So mine, number 1, of course, would be Natalya. Number 2, Nikki Bella. Number 3, Eva Marie. And 4, and literally everybody. No, just kidding. I'm kidding.
Eva Marie would have been 51, I understand.
Yeah, she's the number 51. My top 5, I would put Trish at number 1, Charlotte 2. I would have Chyna at 3.
China.
I would actually have Lita at 4. I would like Lita a little higher on my list than number 8. And I would have Asuka at my number 5. That would be my top 5. Intern Mark, who would be your top 5?
Oh man, I would probably say my number 1 would also be Trish. Be Trish Stratus. Lita would be 2. Probably Chyna at 3.
China.
Wait, 4 and 5. Oh man. I'd probably put Sasha Banks up there in the top 5. Sasha and probably Becky Lynch. I'm sorry if that upsets anybody.
It's okay. Now because I have my Twitter feed scrolling, and somebody had posted a GIF of like Dakota and Raquel. So like you're gonna put Shotzi in the top 50, but you're not gonna put like Dakota or Raquel in the top. If we're featuring like current female superstars, you're not gonna include like the first women, like the first women's tag team champions. Seems odd. NXT women's tag team champions. Matt, who would your top 5?
Yeah, so Trish is 1 for myself as well. 2 would be Chyna. 3 is thank you. 3 is Lita. And then at 4, I think I would put Becky at 4 and Sasha at 5.
Very good. Sam?
I'm gonna go Charlotte 1. I'm going to go Trish 2. I will go. Oh God, this is very difficult. Becky Lynch at 3.
Okay.
Asuka 4. and I'm actually putting Alexa Bliss at 5. I'll be honest with you.
Hey.
Like, China means a lot in like the history, but like I don't know. A lot of firsts and a lot of big memories, but footprint small.
Okay.
Large steps, short trail.
Okay, that makes sense. I think we can all agree Ryan's number 1 would be Cameron, right?
Correct.
We all agree. We all agree on that one.
And then I think 2 through 5 would just all be Brie.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he would have Alicia Fox in his top 5.
That's true. Yeah, so it's like 2 Brie, 3 Brie, 4 Alicia Fox.
Hervina.
He would have Alicia up there since Alicia inspired Cameron, his favorite wrestler.
That's true.
Then Melina would also go on the list.
What's your favorite match?
My favorite match was with Melina and Alicia Fox.
Who?
You can probably, like, just see the producers in the background. Don't hit her! Don't hit her! Don't hit her!
Please,
I also have
Steve, don't do it, Steve.
I also have a honorable mention for someone who should be like 51 on the list.
We already talked about Eva Marie.
No, I'm trying to remember what her name was, but there was a time in which like some WWE superstar had his sister show up and like was trying
Ryan Shamrock.
No, not Ryan Shamrock. We're talking like more
Former
recently.
guest of this show, Ryan Shamrock.
More recently, but like she came on and she was trying to hype up like how great her brother was.
Stephanie McMahon.
No. Black.
Are we
hit the button?
Bobby!
Thank you.
You're welcome. Devin has Trish number 1, Charlotte 2, 3, Lita 4,
China,
and 5, Becky Lynch. So we're fairly certain that Charlotte, Trish, Becky, China, Asuka are your 5 that are going to be these remaining 5 that get unveiled tomorrow. I feel like number 1 is either going to be Trish or Charlotte. Yeah. Who do you think they actually put atop the list? I'm going to say Charlotte. Just based on the number of current talent and maybe the overinflation of some current talent, I'm saying they're going to go Charlotte number 1 on this list.
Charlotte has the most title wins in WWE history for females.
Plus, they just pissed her off, so they probably
and they need her to stick around.
1-on-1, Charlotte better than Trish.
She did beat her.
Yeah,
you did beat her as well.
Yeah.
And then lastly, let's go to our news and rumors. Of course, we already talked about the Peacock editing WWE content. So we'll go the WWE Thunderdome. We've kind of been keeping an eye on this one, but officially announced it'll bring the viewing experience to the Yuengling Center in Tampa at the University of South Florida. It begins on Monday Night Raw, the day after the 2 nights of WrestleMania. Monday Night Raw on April the 12th. So the go home shows for WrestleMania are actually going to be taped because they have a hard out of the Thunderdome April the 2nd. So the go home Monday Night Raw, the go home SmackDown are actually going to be taped. Now you can obviously there was things taped last year, WrestleMania taped last year, at least in parts. So you gotta go real hard with like a closed set, man, because you don't want any of your go home stuff leaking. I'm not necessarily anti doing it because I would move it to the Capitol Wrestling Center. If you have to get a hard out of the Thunderdome, and figure it out. I want those shows to be live.
You know what I would do? I would just run recaps. I would make it like a 3-hour like WrestleMania press conference. or something like you want to know what one of the most entertaining moments of WWE television was? The night that Raw got snowed out.
Oh, the after the Royal Rumble,
where they physically could not get to the building.
Yeah.
And they did the whole show from the
Titan Tower,
and like Dean talked about how he walked from WrestleMania to Stamford because he didn't want to miss Raw. And like,
and didn't they had, was it
JBL on the roof? Yeah. Oh, it's snowing and everything's great, and I want to be in Bermuda. Blah, blah, blah.
Maybe he should have gotten thrown off the roof.
Hey man, he'd find a way to make more money.
But yeah, I hope they don't have leaks. Like it is what it is. It's shitty. I mean,
if worse comes to worse, though, just don't do anything spectacular on the go home show.
Yeah. That's true too.
Make your go home show, like, do all your surprises this week.
Yeah.
And make next week stuff that's just like, oh, there's a face to face and like stuff.
Which, I mean, that's kind of what
it's stuff to fill in for the video packages for all the matches.
Right, which is kind of what the go home shows unfortunately have become anyway. But it continues the Thunderdome in Florida, and it'll be there for the foreseeable future. This Monday on Raw, the WWE updated the WrestleMania card, confirmed matches announced for certain nights. 3 confirmed matches for night 1. On Saturday, you have Bad Bunny with Damian Priest versus The Miz with John Morrison. You have the singles match for the WWE Championship. Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, banned from ringside. Bobby Lashley defending against Drew McIntyre. And then, of course, we have the singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha Banks defending against Bianca Belair. There's been a huge push for that to main event. I think it should be the main event. Like, if you have 2 Royal Rumble winners, you have 2 nights of WrestleMania. Royal Rumble winners should main event each show. Don't make it too difficult, WWE. Night 2, we have The Fiend with Alexa Bliss against Randy Orton. Asuka defending the Raw Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley. And Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Edge, as it currently stands. 2 other matches, but not been announced for which night they are on. The New Day defending the Raw Tag Team Championships against AJ Styles and Omos, and Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon.
The best in the world.
I don't care. I did it. I wanted to hear it. I did it. Fight me. Go ahead. Stop it. If you can stop it, stop it.
I can.
And please don't stop it. It's almost done anyway.
Yeah, Friday.
So more matches.
Hold Ryback Jim.
So that's what she said.
And then finally, WWE this week confirmed the additions of Kane and the Great Khali to the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2021, of course, with Eric Bischoff and Molly Holly. Rob Van Dam, currently a rumored name to be announced as early as next week. Khali, really? I mean, like, I get it. They have the big India deal, but really?
Yeah.
Former WWE champion.
World Heavyweight Champion.
World Heavyweight
ECW Champion. But,
Heavyweight.
like, Khali had a run that was, what, 7 years? 6-7 years with the company?
I mean, he was around a long time, I guess.
Get his classic storylines with Natty and Hornswoggle as well.
He has an impact, a cultural impact to WWE being huge in India. And like that,
yeah,
that's where his Hall of Fame status comes from. Like,
And,
yeah,
in the longest yard.
Well, that's true too.
And he killed a guy in the ring.
He did. And Batista has actually been removed from this year's ceremony. He's part of the 2020 class He released a statement on his Twitter. He said, to the WWE Universe, unfortunately, due to previous obligations, I'm unable to be a part of the Hall of Fame this year. By my request, they have agreed to induct me at a future ceremony where I will be able to properly thank the fans and people who made my career possible. So I'm sure Ryan is heartbroken over this as well. We'll try and comfort him over the loss of Batista in this year's Hall of Fame. I mean, he's going to still be in eventually.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll
put
headline
him
another
in,
year.
Perhaps in LA.
Would make sense.
He's Drax the effing Destroyer now. He's not Batista. More people know him as
Correct.
the dude from the Avengers than they know him as Batista.
I know we were like hypothesizing that would be the year The Rock headline. So like,
Black Adam and Drax going in.
That's true because I think next year in Texas, old Texas Red is probably going to be.
That's a Mark from Texas.
That's a Mark from Texas. That is Mark from Texas written all over it.
Oh, hi, Mark.
So I'm sure that's going to be your headliner there. Hollywood will be loaded. And then earlier today, Impact Wrestling announced that beginning April the 8th, their weekly show will be moving to Thursdays. That is, I think, a reactionary move to the fact that NXT is moving to Tuesdays. So there'll be some form of wrestling literally every day. Pick and choose where you want to watch it, how you want to watch it. But that is the news for the week. You guys got anything to add before we close this thing up? All right. Well, let's do it. Intern Mark, got anything to plug, my friend?
Boy, let's see here.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, boys. I don't think I really have anything. We talked about Hodecker's celery. We talked about some whoopie pies. The hours at Hershey Park this year are lame. Talked about Sal's. Sonic's closed. Haas's is closed. Several of them are anyway. So, well, hey, you know what? Let's press on. I'm going to wish everybody a very happy Easter a week early.
There you go. Very good. Palm Sunday this week. For those
Palm Sunday.
There you go.
Passover's coming. Get ready.
There you go. Matt, got anything to plug?
Yes, so you can follow the 3 Count Thursday Instagram. It is at 3 Count Thursday. We do a Woman of the Week feature. Do not be confused. The picture of Felicia Rose is not a Woman of the Week picture. That's just encouraging you to buy a fantastic t-shirt from a What a Maneuver this week. We are featuring Kid Cadet, ring announcer, backstage interviewer. We like to show love to those women who contribute outside the ring as well. So go ahead and give her a follow. You can follow me on Twitter at 3CT Affiliate. You can listen to me every other Wednesday. This week, it's actually tomorrow, on the Whiz Wit podcast, where we talk all things Philly sports. That is at WhizWit Pod. And you can follow Ryan on Twitter as well at RYN Eagle. I don't know that he's tweeting right now since he's slumbering and eating diner food, maybe.
Burger King.
But he is active on there sometimes. So give him a follow as well, as he will be more active, I'm sure, as WrestleMania approaches.
As he wakes up from slumber. Tim, what do you got?
At Not the Tool Man across all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, if you care. If you enjoy what I do here, I do a couple other podcasts on the regular. Every week, Final Wrestling Place, where we take the nouns of professional wrestling and assign them red points and green points and put them in the good place or the bad place. It's the finals of Mania Madness. Bob Uecker versus Pete Rose. One goes in the Good Place Hall of Fame. One does not. The Miller Lite Catfight Girls versus Jennifer Flowers. One goes into the Bad Place Hall of Fame. One does not. You get to decide that at Final Place Pod on Twitter. And we may be doing a WrestleMania watch along with it. So that should be fun. Other than that, I do a regular pay-per-view recap show covering WWE, AEW, and NXT pay-per-views. called Viewer's Choice at VC on North South. WrestleMania weekend's going to be fun. Breaking news for you guys. So Marcus will not be available for the 2-night NXT Spectacular. So I have gone to the bullpen and I have called for the lefty. My girlfriend has agreed to do both nights of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. And when I tell you that it is going to be the most enjoyable thing I have done in podcasting, it is going to be insane to think that someone who does not watch wrestling and does not really care for wrestling is going to tell people why she did or did not like something. I can't wait, dude. It's going to be sick. So she is going to be covering Stand and Deliver with me. And then Marcus will be back for WrestleMania. Also, I'm featured on a podcast called The A Show, at The A Show on CKCC. We drafted and built cards around 1995 WWF. I think I won. Other people think I didn't. And yeah, that's it for me.
All right, very good. You can, of course, follow me at Big Jim Sports on Twitter. Make sure you are following along with the show at 3 Count Thursday, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go to 3countthursday.com. That is our homepage. You'll find our merchandise. You'll find our collar and elbow brand deal. You'll find everything 3 Count related. Make sure you subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, all of them. Make sure you are subscribed there. Check out our home network for all things sports. It is NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com, and our secondary network is the Leap Sports and Music Network. Go to leeibsports.com, and you'll hear from the sponsor of the show, Arena Eats, coming up here at the end. Guys, have a good one. Stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin. 3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?